In this Sunday editing session, I'm going to take this photo and using Luminar Neo, transform it into this. From an average photo where your eye doesn't really know where to rest in the frame to a more impactful and dramatic shot where we're controlling the viewer's attention. And the lighting effect you see at the top of the frame is possibly one you haven't seen before, so I'm looking forward to showing you that. I'm going to try and perform quite a creative edit on this photo whilst also keeping it pretty quick and simple. So I'm going to try some accent AI. That always helps elevate our photos. We're getting a little bit too bright, so I'm just going to put it around 43, choose my paintbrush and just mask this into the areas that I feel need a little bit of lift in the photo. So I'm just going to keep working around the main area of the foreground before and after. Let's also just pop in a little bit of the sky enhancer just to give that sky a little bit more depth as well. I'm trying to choose tools that give us the most bang for our buck, and Structure AI, Accent AI, they are two very powerful tools indeed. If we look at the before and after, this really does a lot of heavy lifting. Of course, this is far too much, but I'm looking at the photo and analyzing, okay, where do I like this effect? So now I've set the amount to the strongest amount I'd want this anywhere in the photo. I'm going to come in and just sort of paint this effect in where I want the maximum impact. And usually that is through the central part of the frame. All right, before and after, a nice subtle lift. I love the fact that our eye goes to the mountain lit up in the background, and I love the fact that we have this nice lead-in line here, but I'd like to bring a bit more emphasis to this part of the path just to differentiate it from the foreground so that we're starting to build layers into our photo. To do that, I'm going to try the light depth tool. This was a new addition in Luminar's latest update, and I really love this one. If we just look at the before and after straight out of the box, we can see that we're able now to relight this photo in three-dimensional space. And so I can drag this light beam and set that right around this focal point. And before I fine tune it, I just want to keep it really strong with the amount at 100 so that I can clearly see how any changes that I make are affecting the overall photo. What I'd like to do is warm up this little beam through here. As you can see, we can go very warm and then we could cool down the far pixels and the near pixels. And that's the kind of effect that I want to go for, believe it or not. But obviously this is far too much. We're just going to hint at this direction. So I want to bring all of these settings back down just so that they're starting to sort of mute that orangey tinge in the foreground and in the background as well. Something like that. Let's have a look before and after. That is a huge change, probably too much. So now we'll get our amount slider, and that allows us just to ease this back and forth until we find the sweet spot that we're happy with. I reckon somewhere around there, 45, before and after. Now I want this to be quite a creative edit, and I'm looking at sort of emulating some light feathering down from the top of the frame onto the mountains. And one way that we can do that is with the magic light tool. So the first thing we need to do to actually apply any of this effect is we need to bring the intensity up. The tool looks for bright parts of your photo that it thinks are or could be lights. So for example, this very bright part of the mountain, it thinks could be a light. We need to remove that. We don't want the light coming from there. And now we can actually come in and decide where we want that light to come from. So I'm going to put a big old spot right up here. Now, this is going to look really fake for now, but don't worry because I'm actually going to crop a lot of this sky out. I just want the effect of this brightening kind of haze up the top. So I'll increase the size, and that allows us again to clearly see the effect that we're having with the changes that we make to the tool. I'm going to keep it very bright for now. We can clearly see what is going on. It's illuminating the whole photo. Now I just want to bring this size down so that that beam is just radiating out from this area. So you can see it localized around that cloud, and we can sort of bring it out so it starts to spread through the photo. So before and after. That's still a little bit too much. I'll just bring that size down. Now, don't worry, it's not going to be a light source coming out of the top of the cloud because I find this top of the cloud too bright anyway. It's a distraction in our frame. I want our eye to hover around the mountains, hover around this lead-in path right here. So we're just going to crop that out, but it's going to leave the light that we created behind. Something like this should be pretty good. And there you go, we've emulated the look of light bleeding in from the top of the frame. And now to add a little bit more drama, I just want to bring down the overall brightness of this. So I'm going to do that with a curve and just grab the midtones and bring these down. You can see if I put a point on the middle of the curve and just drop it down, we can make this very dark and moody. And that's kind of what I'm after. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit, but keep the bright pixels a little brighter, something like that. And we don't want to oversaturate it. So I'm just going to grab the saturation slider and just tease that back a little bit. And of course, we'll toggle our before and after, check we're happy with that. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Dark and moody is what I'm after. But as one last thing, what I want to do is really focus our viewers' attention around the center part of the frame. And there's several ways you could do that. And you might think, well, just grab a vignette, pop that into the scene, and that's going to help bring our viewer's eye to the more bright central part of the frame. Absolutely, we could do that. I'll leave a little bit of that in. But a way I prefer to do that is, again, creating a custom curve. So if we grab the top point of the curve, did I just say that? I meant curve. Slip of the tongue. Right, here we go. This could get very, very dark very quickly. Okay, and I'm not talking about the photo. We are going to bring the top point of the curve down. That's going to make our overall photo in the bright pixels much darker. The darker pixels have been unaffected, but if I grab the bottom point of the curve and bring that up, we can brighten those up. So we can basically reduce contrast by doing this effect. And that is what I'm going to do. I've basically flattened out the image and made it much darker. Why would I want to do that? Well, now it allows me to kind of custom paint this effect in. So I can darken down the left-hand side. And if I jump out of that, you can see that we've darkened down and lost contrast over there. And then I could do the same over here on the right-hand side with another linear gradient and just let that feather off towards the center of the frame. And there you go. Before and after, we've controlled the light in the center of the frame, made a really nice moody image out of this. Now, as a final touch, I just want to sort of accentuate the bright parts of the photo with a little bit of coloration. So I'm going to do that through the toning tool, where I can talk directly into the highlights and I can choose a color for those. If I grab the saturation, I see the color that we're currently on, which is a reddy hue. I just want to push that into those yellows, so we're accentuating what was already there before and after. Obviously, that's way too much again. So we just want to hint at that. And I'm going to do the same with the shadows, but I'm going to do a complementary color. So rather than the red that we have it set on at the moment, I'm going to bring these over towards the blues, something like that. Maybe we'll go a little more towards the purples before and after, and then just lift that amount up until we're getting a hint of it. And depending how much we want, we can either push the amount to 100 or ease it back. Let's go pretty heavy with this. And I think I want to push this just a little bit more towards the highlights with the balance. So as you know, if we push this towards the right-hand side, we get more of the highlights influenced. And if we push it more towards the left, then the color that we set up for the shadows is more dominant. So before and after with the shadow setting, before and after with more of that highlight emphasis. So I do want to keep these highlights nice and warm. So before and after, I think I'm going to call that done. Let's jump back to the beginning and just see how we built this photo up. So the first pass was just adding a little bit of accent AI just to lift the foreground. Secondly, we used Enhance AI again, this time with the sky enhancer, just to give us a little bit of a pop in the sky. Structure AI was then used just to add a little bit more light and interest through the central part of the frame, which until we did that, the darkness of it was just acting as a little bit of a visual block in the frame. So lifting that really helped. From there, we used the really powerful light depth tool to reinterpret both the light and the color balance in our scene to give us a little bit more light through this central part here. I then used Magic Light AI in a way which you may or may not have seen before. Let me know in the comments, but just to sort of emulate a nice golden haze as if the sun is just out of frame up the top here. From there, I used the curves tool just to drop down the midtones so we were getting a bit more drama into our photo. I demonstrated the vignette. We could live with or without this in our final edit because, to be honest, the heavy lifting was done with this version of curves, which just drops down all of the contrast, and then I just masked it in left and right so that the viewer's eye stays localized through the central part of the photo. And as a finishing touch, I just added a little bit of color toning, which now I'm going back to it. I'm not sure it really needs it, to be honest. So I'm just going to drop that amount back down And of course, let's not forget that we recropped the photo as well. So this was our original, and this is our more dramatic, impactful edit, before and after. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.